Hello and welcome to Lift the Cup Fantasy, or LTC Fantasy as some call it. Today is our waiver wire episodes where we're going to look at some goalies, defensemen, and forwards that can hopefully help you out not only this week but in future weeks as well. Later in the week we will be having our weekend ads episode, and don't forget to check out the description because I'll mark where in the video to find goalies, defensemen, and forwards just in case one day you need one piece, injury happens, you need a different piece, you can come back and find what you need. Don't forget to subscribe, that way it is easier to find the video in case you need it later. And we'll jump right into it. Some goalies. First one's Jake Ottinger from Dallas, owned in 69% of Yahoo League, so really his ownership is getting quite high, almost out of the non-range, but there still is a 3 in 10 chance of getting him. He's really taken over the Dallas crease. And in his last 5 starts, he's 4-1-1 with a 1.3 goals against average and a .958 save percentage. Next one is Sam Montembeault from Montreal, only owned in 8% of Yahoo leagues. This is not including tonight while I'm recording it. He gave up 4 goals and 6 shots, but I just seen Montreal tied it up, so he might be able to squeak out a win. But in his last 6 starts before tonight, he's 3-2-1 with a 2.2 goals against average and a .935 save percentage. Next one's Anton Forsberg from Ottawa, owned in 18% of Yahoo leagues. Murray did just come back from injury, but Forsberg in his last recent starts, he's 3-0 with a 1.91 goals against average and a .941 save percentage. So really good to pick up for them spot starts depending on your roster. And the last one's Jeremy Swayman from Boston, owned in 62% of Yahoo leagues. He started takeaway starts from Allmark. He started 5 of the last 6 games, going 4-0-1 with a 1.21 goals against average and a .955 save percentage. We'll move along to defensemen. First one's Jeff Petrie, owned in 50% of Yahoo leagues. Does play on that second pairing, does get some power play time, and he's had a rough start, but compared to last year, because he was really good last year, but he's starting to turn it around. He's had 5 points in his last 6 games. Next one is Noah Dobson from the Islanders, owned in 42% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on the second pairing and top power play unit. He's been really hot of late, having 8 points in his last 8 games. Next one is Jacob Slavin from Carolina, owned in 63% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on that top pairing and top power play unit. And with D'Angelo out for a month, he's obviously getting some more power play time. And he's had 5 points in his last 7 games. Next one is Jared Spurgeon from Minnesota, owned in 58% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on the top pairing and top power play unit, and really is the best offensive guy in Minnesota, and it shows. He has 5 points in his last 7 games. Next one is Josh Morrissey from Winnipeg, owned in 49% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on that top pairing and top power play unit, and he's been really good of late, having 6 points in his last 19 games to go along with 19 shots and 17 blocks in those 9 games. So if there is some secondary stats in your league, he's definitely worth looking at. Same with Mark Giordano. He's also owned in 49% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on the top pairing and top power play in Seattle. And he too has 5 points in his last 8 games with 21 shots on goal and 14 blocks. Next defenseman is Travis Sanheim from Philadelphia, only owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues, so you can basically find him anywhere. Plays on that second power play unit, and he has 4 points in his last 4 games to go along with 9 shots on goal and 7 blocks. So he even adds some secondary value for you, especially if it's a deep league. He might be somebody to look at. Next one is Brady Shea from Carolina, owned in 16% of Yahoo leagues. Plays in that second pairing, and he has 4 points in his last 5 games played. And I really do think right now they got Ethan Bear on the second power play unit. I could see Shea taking some of that time away from him the way he's been playing. Next one from St. Louis is Nico Mikola, only owned in, I always want to say Ricola, but Nico Mikola, owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues. Plays in that top pairing. And he's been really good since moving up to that top pairing. Has 3 points in the last 4 games, and he has 10 hits. So if it's in a banger league that's definitely somebody that can help you out. Next one is Rasmus Andersson from Calgary, owned in 46% of Yahoo leagues. Plays in that top pairing and top power play unit, and he's been really good of late, having 8 points in his last 8 games. Next one from Anaheim is Cam Fowler, owned in 37% of Yahoo leagues. Plays in that second pairing and second power play unit, and he has only 3 points in his last 6 games played, so still half a point per game. But he also has 14 shots on goal in those 6 games, so he can definitely help you out there as well to add a little extra value. We'll jump into forwards. I look at Cole Caulfield from Montreal, listed as a right winger, owned in 52% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on that top line and top power play unit, and he's been really hot, having 10 points in his last 8 games played. And I seen he had at least 1 assist tonight, so he's still keeping it going. Next one is Boone Jenner from Columbus, listed as a center left winger, owned in 58% of Yahoo leagues, plays in that top line and top power play unit, and he's been having a really strong season, and it's been even better of late, having 8 points in his last 7 games. Next one is Robert Thomas from St. Louis, listed as center right winger, only owned in 34% of Yahoo leagues, and he's been really good all season, and he's been even better, having 9 points in his last 7. Next one is Alex Tuck from Buffalo, listed as left wing, right wing, owned in 50% of Yahoo leagues, plays on the top line and top power play unit, and since he got into the lineup because he was injured the first part of the season, he has 22 points in 22 games played, so he's been a point per game player. Next one is Tage Thompson, listed as center, left wing, and right wing, owned in 53% of Yahoo leagues, plays on that top line with Tuck and top power play unit, and since Tuck's been inserted in the top line, Thompson's really taken off, having 17 points in his last 15 games played. Next one is Matt Boldy from Minnesota, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 35% of Yahoo leagues, plays on that second line and top power play unit, and he's having a really solid rookie season, having 18 points in 19 games played. Going from a rookie to a wily veteran, we got Zach Parise, listed as center left winger, only owned in 2% of Yahoo leagues. He plays on the second line and second power play unit, and he has 7 points in his last 6 games played. Next one is Braden Shen from St. Louis, listed as center, left wing, and right wing. His ownership is high at 69%. He plays on that third line, but does center the top power play unit, and he's been really hot, having 13 points in his last 10 games played. Next one from Minnesota is Frederick Gaudreau, listed as a center, only owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues. He plays on that second line with Boldy and also gets second unit power play time, and he has 7 points in his last 8 games played. Next one from Anaheim is Trevor Zegras, listed as center left winger, owned in 53% of Yahoo leagues, plays on the second line and top power play unit, and he's been over a point per game in his last 5, having 6 points in those 5 games. Next one's another young player, Dylan Cousins from Buffalo, listed as center right wing, only owned in 4% of Yahoo leagues, plays on the third line right now. I've seen him on the second line, also plays on the second power play unit, and he has 6 points in his last 7 games played. Next one's Jakub Voracek, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 45% of Yahoo leagues, plays on that second line, but plays on the top power play unit, and he has 13 points in his last 12 games played. Next one from LA is Adrian Kempe, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 48% of Yahoo leagues, plays on that top line with Kopitar and top power play unit, and in his last 6 games he has 6 goals and 2 assists. So he's goal per game plus a couple apples in there. Next one's Victor Arvidsson, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 49% of Yahoo leagues, plays on the second line and first power play unit, and he has 8 points in his last 8 games played. Next one is Kyle Okposo from Buffalo, listed as right winger, only owned in 5% of Yahoo leagues, plays on the third line and gets second unit power play time, similar to Cousins, and he's also been hot, having 5 points in his last 6 games. And the last one is Brock Nelson from the Islanders, listed as a center, owned in 20% of Yahoo leagues. He's on the second line and on the top power play unit, and he has 5 points in his last 6 games played. I do hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, please hit like. Remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified of future episodes. And as I mentioned earlier, we will be having our Weekend Ads episode later on this week. And all the best of luck to you, fantasy owners.